recent studies are focusing on one particular type of cancer, where I want to focus on multiple cancers.
For any high schoolers who are looking into getting into the science fair or even going to ISEF, which I know that's like a bigger jump, but what are some tips you would give high schoolers for getting into the science fair?
Okay, so
The following is a conversation with Srinidhi Karthik. She's an International Science and Engineering Fair 2025 finalist, a high school researcher at Yale, and a proponent for women in STEM in her community. I had so much fun talking to her, and I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I did. Get ready for a mind bending episode as usual. So, hello everyone. Today, I would like to welcome to the show Srinidhi Karthik. She did so many great things. I first wanted to talk to you because you're an amazing leader, and I have over here founder of your Women in STEM initiative. You founded the Science National Honor Society at your school. You also did research as an intern at Yale, and of course, ISEF 2025 finalist. So, yeah, I'm so excited to get into it. So, what was your first kind of like memory, I guess, vivid memory in STEM or tech that, like, it could be like a childhood memory or like your first laptop, something like that?
okay. My first memory. Okay. So something that it's like this particular thing. It was actually in my AP Bio class, and that motivated everything that I've done so far. And it's this particular enzyme that is associated with so many different types of cancers. And I think that was like my like big moment, like STEM.
Yeah. And when was that? Was that recently?
It was pretty recent. It like actually motivated a lot of my th cancer research. So
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I know I usually ask this to people who are like 30 or something, they have like childhood memories, but obviously we're still in high school, so like
Yeah, so
even like memories like that.
when I was in child like it was my childhood, I wanted to be everything. I didn't want to
Mhm.
like I wasn't sure if I wanted to go into STEM, but it
Yeah.
was high school where I
No,
kind of
yeah. I mean, even last year's childhood for us, so it's perfect.
yeah.
So I just want to get into, like I'm a woman in STEM myself. I've done like robotics, coding, stuff like that, but I'm really interested into, kind of why you founded your Women in STEM initiative and kind of what got you into that.
So before the Women in STEM initiative, I've done a lot like founding activities as a co-founder, as a co-president.
Mhm.
Um, and in those like areas, I was kind of seen as the assistant, the support
Mm.
person. I
Yeah.
wasn't really, I would put in the same amount of work, the same amount of effort into everything, but I would be even introduced as my co-founders because of my co-founder. No one would know my name that was
Wow.
behind the work.
Yeah.
So I was like, and I was also new to freshman year. I came in ninth grade, so everything was different. I thought that's how it's supposed to be, actually. So then later I started to gain ground, and I felt like it's really important to do research, but it's also really important, like it's important to do STEM, like go into STEM, but it's also important, equally important to gain your own ground and advocate for yourself. And I think
Mhm.
that's for me, that's why I started. I wanted to create a space like where women can feel supported and empowered. So that's another reason why I named Women in STEM from discovery to advocacy.
That's perfect. Yeah. I mean, I definitely feel that a lot. Um, just kind of not really feeling excluded, but feeling like you're behind, you know? So
Yeah.
that one specific space is so great. Like what are some of the things that you guys do in the Women in STEM initiative?
So right now, what we do is I have reached out to amazing mentors who are willing to be a part of this. So they are from like top tier universities doing research. So and the main core principle of us is to promote research in like for women.
Hmm.
So starting at an earlier time. So connecting them with those mentors, providing them access to different laboratories, and also like we're also focused on community-based impact, like doing fundraisers for NICU mamas and NICU babies. So
Oh,
these
wow.
are some things that like we absolutely need to focus on, and I think that we're doing a great job.
Yeah, I mean, that's so cool. I love to explore why you founded the Science like National Honor Society. Yeah, let's start with that.
Okay, so Science National Honor Society, there was in our school we did one of the best teams in Connecticut is actually a robotics team and also Science Olympiad. But there were only like and then only those students would do everything science and the rest of the school would be completely they wouldn't they thought only smart kids or nerdy kids would
Mm,
be accepted into something like that. So we wanted to create a space where we can connect community impact and also encourage more students who are not as passionate about STEM to explore STEM. And I think
yeah.
that was like kind of the point where we decided, okay, we need a Science/Honor Society so we can have peer reviews, guest speakerless sessions, and improve the knowledge of STEM, basically.
I mean, that's such a cool mission because, yeah, I've definitely been in that student's position where, like, I don't know if I'm smart enough to do this, or I don't know if
Right.
I've reached that level yet. But, like, everyone's just a kid, you know? You should be given the
Yeah,
chance to explore
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like they're afraid to even try out some like clubs because they think, oh, that's not for me.
Mm,
And
yeah.
that level of yeah, hesitation.
I also have on here that you did research.
Yeah.
Like, aside from your project for ISEF, you also did research at Yale. So I'd
Yeah.
love to ask kind of what was that about?
Yeah. So this research, so I was working under JCI level, like publishing author. And I've read her papers. It's about endometriosis. And I think the like working under her, I've learned so many steps of research, like so many things that I didn't know when I did my SF project.
Yeah.
And now I am like getting mentored by her. And using those things, I'm a better researcher right now than I
Mhm.
was before. And looking at different experiments that they do, like using mouse models or using bone marrow cells, or those are like
Oh,
extremely fascinating. And I think seeing it for the first time, being exposed to that setting now, I think will help me after when I go to college too.
so for any high school students out there wondering, like, how did you kind of gain this mentorship? Was it through a program or cold outreach, or how was it?
Okay, so what I would say is there is cold emails. That's baseline for everyone if you do not have any like connections. Um, but my experience was like I did have some connections in there, so I was able
Mhm.
to get in. But regardless, I feel like you taking every, if you see someone as a Yale professor and you're in the same meeting room as them, you should go and approach them and you should
Yeah.
talk about why you're so passionate. And like email will work, but I don't think it's as effective as you going and reaching out to them in person. So there was like a STEM event at my like community and there was a Yale professor. I went and I talked to him, I showed everything. And that was more impactful than any of my cold emails ever was. So,
Wow.
something that I could say is don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to like, they can say no, but they will still be admired by your passion, your work that you're willing to do, and they will see that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the worst that can happen. I also think you brought up an interesting point, which is like in person is just so like it's infinitely so much better than just sending like a templated email.
No, I mean, if I freshman year, sure, you wouldn't have done that. But those experiences, I feel like some of the things that I have done through leadership, that has prepared me to go up to a professor and be like, I like the research that you're doing. This is what I'm doing. And do you have any opportunities for me? So I think really immersing yourself and not being afraid to stand up and like ask.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it does take guts to do that. Yeah, I'm sure you like built it up like really over time. But yeah, I'd love to kind of segue into what you did at ISIF and how you kind of got your project started. What was the journey and life cycle of that?
Yeah. Yeah. So at the time of my ISEF, well, I wasn't at ISEF before, but
Hmm.
when I was preparing for my science fair journey, so I did not have like a wet lab mentor at that time. So what I could possibly do is computational, something that I could do with my laptop.
Hmm.
So I started there, and like this particular enzyme I talked about, it's and like it was connected to so many different cancers And I felt like it's also interconnected between how we age. So there are two big relationships going on within that particular enzyme. It's called telomerase. But that level of going to do that particular, I know I had idea, but what I ended up submitting to my science fair was actually completely different from where I started. And I think
Wow. Okay.
um because I used to work on my project for 3 months straight, and a glitch would happen in my computer and everything got deleted.
Oh.
So then those like hours of work and everything just got wasted. And like I was like really like frustrated, but I feel like I learned a lot from that. Although it got deleted, I figured out new ways to approach that problem. And that's what research teaches you. It's like new ways to solve those problems and also approach it differently. And yeah, so now I ended the project I submitted was actually better than the project that I thought I should submit. So
Hmm.
take
Yeah.
your failures as a learning point, basically.
No, I mean that's insane. 3 months and that's all
Yeah.
deleted. Like
Yeah.
that's literally insane. So how did it start off? What was the original vision for the project versus how it ended?
Okay, so I was trying to figure out new drugs to uh so no. So for first I just wanted to see if the existing drugs for cancer was good enough or which drug is better.
Hmm.
But then after all of these like things, I started, wait, why can't I find new drugs based on existing drugs? So then I was like, I created an AI where the AI is able to recognize those patterns and optimize the best ligand from previously existing ones.
Oh,
So
cool.
um, we can make the drug discovery process much faster. So that was like the goal behind it. So yeah.
Wow, that's so interesting. So the model, like, does the model work with like molecular structures, I guess, or does it work with, I guess, other types of data? I'm not really familiar with bio terms, but yeah.
Yeah. So it takes so it's programmed for like specifically identifying like chemical structures. So for example, it will take in your like previously existing, we call it ligands, but those drug molecules that are already there, it will assess them, and I give some of like I need new molecules and these are the best properties. And it compares those molecules with this and sees if it can modify the change, just I don't know if you know, but just substituting another element
Mhm.
of the molecule can be vastly different.
Yeah.
So the AI was able to recognize that and make those new molecules. It might not be so different, but um it's what to say. So it's like the okay.
Don't worry,
So
we can cut anything out.
yeah, so I'm trying to figure out the right word. But its impact was much bigger.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
little,
of course. Like
yeah,
that tiny change just completely changes the whole like
right.
chemical, right? So originally you were like what you said was you're comparing different drugs to see which one was better, kind of like baseline testing and stuff like that. In the
Yeah.
end, you had a model. So you were you relying like based off public data and stuff like that, or did you do data collection?
Yeah, so my experimental like method was primarily based on me collecting my own data, and then building my AI model based off of my own data.
Oh,
So
wow.
so there's two different like steps that I included so that I can get to the particular one, but I also had public data sets that are available. I started there. So you start with a public data set. I got the molecules and then started doing experiments, got my initial data, then did another AI model, then used this data for the AI model and got my molecules, and then did statistical like analysis comparing the
Oh,
results.
cool. So
Yeah.
the model was initially trained on the public data set and then it was tested on your data or
Uh, the model was trained on my data, but
Mhm.
then the molecules that I got were from the public available.
Oh, got it. Okay. That's
Yeah.
cool. Okay. That's really fascinating. I mean, I do not know much about like the bio world. I haven't taken AP bio yet. Let's see if I do. But yeah, I'm really interested by AI and building models. So it was, I did not expect to have that connection at all. Yeah, that's really
Yeah,
interesting.
and the amazing thing about this particular enzyme is that it also has anti-aging effects. So
Oh,
that's like another area of study, probably an
yeah.
extension of the project. But
Oh,
yeah.
cool. So how does the enzyme fit into all of this?
So, this particular enzyme is actually active in like a lot of cancers, not particularly one cancer. So that was my other idea. Like recent studies are focusing on one particular type of cancer, where I want to focus on multiple cancers.
Hmm.
So, that enzyme actually, like, so it extends the life of the cell, so it immortalizes the cell, so that it can
Oh,
keep
wow.
dividing. So these ligands, these drug molecules are designed to go and bind to that enzyme so that proliferation, so that the cancer cell can stop dividing. And we have some existing drugs who do which do that, but they're not been in clinical trials yet. They're not being able to like synthesize those molecules in laboratories. So we do need better drugs, and we do need to examine this molecule much further. The understanding is we still need more understanding of this. So
Wow. I mean, that's so cool. I didn't know there was like so much commonality between different types of cancer too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
I
such
mean,
an
this was
amazing.
like one like connecting point between many. So I was like, okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean, which cancers does this apply to, or do we not know yet?
Oh, yeah. So like this is called telomerase, and it's
Mhm.
in multiple different cancer cells. It's in glioblastoma. So that's like your brain. So the telomerase is highly active in there.
Mhm.
So specific therapies, drug therapies, papers have been published for those glioblastoma, those cells targeting telomerase specifically. But the side
Wow.
effects were really high. It wasn't really sustainable. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
So, kind of zooming out a bit, for any high schoolers who are looking into like getting into the science fair or even going into ISEF, which I know that's like a bigger jump, but what are some tips you would get like give high schoolers for like getting into the science fair and stuff like that?
Okay, so I can't, every state differs, but
Yeah.
based on my experience, I think if you're picking a project, the project has to be something that you love. There, you cannot be like, oh, this sounds interesting. Let me do a project on that.
Hmm.
But basically, if you love something so much, even though you have setbacks, you keep going back and you keep trying to figure it out. If
Hmm.
you have that passion, you're more likely to succeed.
Yeah.
So find something that ultimately like you're passionate about.
Hmm.
The next advice is that ask for advice from other people, other mentors. They are willing to guide you if you have something to offer to them. So approach professors, the researchers. Like, I have this idea. Would you be able to just give me guidance or help me? They would be able to come back and like they're most likely to reply to you as well. So that is another thing. And really, your presentation skills really matter. So if you're planning to, you might have the best research project in the world, but if you're not able to communicate that research project that is understandable to all other scientists, you are not going to succeed. So
Mhm.
there are so many different components, but I think it is really rewarding to just do a project because I was feeling so satisfied when I completed that project. I was like, oh, I got a question. I designed my methodology. Yeah, I failed multiple times, but I still did the experiment, and now I'm able to present it to like PhD level researchers. That
Yeah.
was, you get that satisfaction, and that's why it's worth it to go
Yeah.
through.
I
Yeah.
mean, the f very first point you said, make sure you're like 100% passionate about it. You
Yeah.
love this thing. Yeah. I mean, it's basically like your pet, like your baby for like what, like 9 months
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
like this whole like cycle. Yeah, it's definitely something super fascinating and you know, it takes a lot of grit, a lot of effort, and a lot of time to go through
Yeah.
that cycle. I mean, you talked also about presentation skills and developing those. What was kind of your journey with that, and when did you realize that that would be kind of important for the science fair?
Okay. Yeah, so that's a great question. I think I have been presenting. I have not like been actively participating like public speaking skills or not, but I have done presentations in for my clubs, for activities like that. But it was actually my sophomore year state science fair where I went, and I did not win. I did not win in my state that year, and I saw other people and how they're presenting. I Something that else that I would like to say is like look at your competitors and be like, what can you learn from them? There's something to learn from each of them. So I think I took that like presentation is key. So I think I practiced my presentation multiple times with different audiences. So I practiced my presentation with a middle schooler and also a PhD level professor so that I can adapt my presentation to each person that comes to me because all the people who judge me may not be as great well versed in my particular area. So
Oh,
practice with
okay.
everyone, all age groups, and I think you'll be successful.
Wow, that's interesting. So not like just practicing by yourself, like practicing with someone who's younger, older,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
'Cause each of them, they have different questions to ask you. So,
Hmm. Oh, it's about that. It's about the questions too. Yeah,
yeah.
that's interesting. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, you were really effortlessly able to kind of boil it down for me in this podcast, just for me to understand. So, yeah, it just goes to show how important that is. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I do want to go into like final thoughts and
Yeah, yeah,
just
definitely.
like your leaving message for the show.
So something, I mean, if I know there are a lot of women in STEM out there. So first of all, congratulations to all of them because
Mhm.
it does. So we are not as equally represented, but we are approaching that. So I think
Yeah.
that's great. And don't be afraid to fail at an experiment, fail at something that you love, because that's gonna help you achieve something much more greater. And always stand up for yourself.
I
Yeah.
love that. You know, I'm gonna take that and apply that into my life. I've been fearing failure for quite a while now. I need to get over it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, once you get over it, nothing seems big anymore. So,
Yeah. Thank you
yeah,
so much.
of course. Thank you. Thank you.